So basically, whether in France or in Belgium, but mostly in Belgium, if you do not like French fries, you are not going to last long. Almost almost every meal they'll offer French fries with about everything. And especially in Belgium, they're very well known for their fries, so you have to at least try it one time. But you have to but if I was you, always ask the members because some of the fry places are not as good as others and they know where the best ones are. And you'll think you don't see a difference, but after you start eating it for a while and you go to a different place, you're like, yeah, I like the Belgian fries better. And yeah, then also just remember that for the most part, if you're American, Europeans will offer you Coca-Cola. That's almost inevitable. They see Americans as people who drink 2 liters every day. So yeah, you will have to get used to that. So French fries and Coca-Cola, learn to love them. In Belgium, just like in France, it depends on who you'll meet. Like some people will be excellent chefs, but usually if you do go eat a meal anywhere, usually with members, you'll have like a regular 3-course meal, salad, and then you have your main dish, and then you'll have your cheese dish, and then you'll have a dessert. So it sort of goes in that order. So it's really fun. So you'll almost always be full. If you're not full, then the members aren't feeding you enough, but you can't expect people to give you, well, in some places, yes. But in France, you'll think it's not a lot, but then once you actually start eating, you're like, okay, this is more than I can handle. Yeah, members there, they're like, I remember there was 3 pieces of chicken left, and everyone's at the table was like, I'm full, I'm full, I'm full. And then they're like, okay, elders, this is all for you. My command looks at me he's like, I can't eat it, I can't eat it. So I ended up eating everything. And in French culture, they actually kind of appreciate it if you do finish your meal. If you don't really finish it, it is kind of disrespectful, but if you tell them it's too much, for the most part, members will understand. But if you're to go like to a non-member's house and you do like eat their food, you eat it and you tell them that you love it, they will love you for life.
The French and Belgian people are so funny about what's proper and what's not. There were so many people who opened the door in their underwear. Like, I remember in the summertime, like so many people, they just opened the door. Like we had a neighbor upstairs. We made them cookies once and we knocked on the door and he opened it in his underwear. He was about 350-pound guy and I thought, okay, this is proper for them. But in terms of etiquette, talking loudly is so obnoxious, especially if you're speaking in English. So if you're on the metro, you're on the tram, you're on the bus, if you're speaking, and it's always rude to speak a different language around people who don't understand, but kind of speaking in a softer voice. I remember I got home. I'm normally a very loud person. And I remember when I got home, my family they were like, oh my goodness, like you speak so quietly, it's like you're whispering. And I thought, oh wow. And even on my mission, I always thought I was still the loud one, but maybe everyone's just that much softer than me when they speak. And in terms of when you're eating, maybe I hadn't been invited to many dinner parties beforehand, but one thing that's always a good rule is to kind of follow the woman of the household and how she eats. Like if you have no idea how to hold whatever forks are in front of you, if you have no idea how to spread the cheese that's given, then kind of look to the woman of the household to see, or for elders to kind of look at the gentleman of the house, the brother in the house. So the French and Belgian people are so funny. They're all about their days off, and they have Catholic holidays spread out all throughout the year. There's the Day of Ascension where Mary went up to heaven. There's, so many different holidays where I'm like, is that really in the Bible? Like, okay, well, they celebrate it. And the French and Belge are huge about their vacances. And the vacances is their 2-month off vacation. I was serving in a tiny city in the north of France during vacances, and none of the buses ran. We actually had to get a car because there were just no buses, especially on the weekends. And some people didn't want to go to church on vacances. They're like, oh, were you going? But it's vacation. And I thought, no, we're going to church. And a lot of them go to the south of France, so you might lose members of your bishopric for 2 months. You might lose your ward mission leader for a few weeks, but we do that in America too, so that's totally understandable. And some people, their VACCONs is just closing their blinds and staying inside, and I just thought that was so great. Another custom is there, and this is more predominant in the smaller villes, the smaller cities, but the sieste, which is kind of a little nap they take in the afternoon from 12 to 2. And I really only noticed it when I was serving in a really small city in France. And we'd knock on the door and people would say, oh, these are sacred hours for me. Like, I don't talk during these times. I only nap. I thought that was so cute. A lot of stores would close down. Like, there was a nice sandwich shop we liked that if we wanted lunch there, we'd have to go there either before 12 or after 2 because they'd close down for the sieste. But in the bigger cities like Paris, Paris, doesn't sleep. Well, that's not true. Paris sleeps, but Paris is just going and they don't take their little nap, and they don't in Belgium either. And I think that's mostly because of the influx of different cultures, and other cultures are like, what? No, we're good. We'll work during those hours.
So the Belgian culture and the French culture are similar but very different all at the same time. The French make fun of the Belgians, and the Belgians make fun of the French all day long. So whenever you serve in France and you go up to Belgium, they make fun of your French accent when you speak French. And then when you're in Belgium and you pick up on a lot of their mannerisms, you go down into France and they make fun of you, joking around that you're some Belgium missionary. It's pretty funny. They have a really good humor in between them. But the culture between the two of them, I didn't notice too big of a culture difference. But I've talked to plenty of people that they say that the culture difference is huge. Then again, it probably just depends on where you serve in Belgium as well, because being the fact that Belgium is kind of split in half in a sense, where it's the Flemish side and then you have the French side as well. So there's just a lot of culture in Belgium, a ton of it. And so I feel like a lot of the pure Belgian culture, it's hard to find. I feel like a lot of it is just a mix. It's kind of like, I guess you could say Brussels is kind of like New York City in a sense, where you have, I don't know, when we were there, on average, we would run into probably 5 to 7 languages a day, just going out and talking to people on the street. You'd run into Spanish, Portuguese, Dutch, German, French, obviously, and then you'd run into Polish, Finnish, like Swiss. You just run into anything. It's actually really weird a lot of the time, which kind of limits your contacting pool a little bit. But that's just, and I say that just to give you an idea about how diverse the culture is over there. So I feel like the French have a more rounded culture now, where the French are extremely prideful, and I don't say that in a bad way either. I say that in a very how do you say that? I guess you could say humble way. It's kind of weird to mix the two, but I say that because of the fact that they are very prideful about their French, their being French. They are very happy to be French, and none of them would ever want to be anything different. They are extremely proud of their food and how they eat and how good it is and how long they spend at the table.